Welcome back to the A-Level English Guide. This is part 1 to 2 of our theory series for paper 4, question 2, Language and the Self. In part 1-1, we looked at gender-based theories. In this video, we're turning our focus to social class, attitudes, accent, and language prestige, all of which are key to understanding how language reflects identity. Let's start with one of the most famous names in sociolinguistics, William Labov. Labov conducted research in 3 New York department stores, high-end, mid-range, and budget, and asked staff for directions to the 4th floor. He was testing for whether or not they pronounced the post-vocalic R in words like fourth. In higher-end stores like Saks, staff were more likely to pronounce the R clearly, a marker of prestige speech. In lower-end stores like S. Klein, the R was often dropped. Labov concluded that people adjust their speech based on class and social setting, revealing how language becomes a marker of aspiration and identity. In an earlier study, Labov looked at Martha's Vineyard, a small island where he found that some residents exaggerated their local accent. They did this not to fit in, but to distance themselves from tourists. This was especially true for young male residents who wanted to assert a local, resistant identity. The takeaway? People sometimes use non-standard speech as a form of rebellion or pride, shaping identity through contrast. Peter Trudgill's Norwich study showed similar results. He found that working-class speakers were more likely to drop the final consonant in words like walking, pronouncing it as walkin. This use of non-standard grammar gave them covert prestige, respect within their own communities. In contrast, middle-class speakers used more standard forms, gaining overt prestige. Just like Labov, Trudgill shows how class and self-image influence language choices. Basil Bernstein proposed 2 speech codes, restricted and elaborated. Restricted code is more common in working-class families. It relies on shared knowledge, fewer words, and informal structure. Elaborated code is used more by middle-class speakers. It's more explicit, grammatically complex, and detailed. Bernstein argued that schools tend to favour elaborated code, which can disadvantage working-class students. This theory links language to power, education, and social inequality. Jenny Cheshire studied teenagers in Reading and found that their use of non-standard grammar, like ain't or you was, reflected peer group norms. Those who strongly identified with group values were more likely to use non-standard forms. In other words, language was a social signal, a way to show loyalty and group identity. Howard Giles proposed the communication accommodation theory. People adjust their speech in conversation depending on who they're talking to. Convergence means matching someone's speech style to show similarity or approval. Divergence means exaggerating your difference to assert identity or resist authority. For example, someone might speak more formally in a job interview, but use slang with friends. This theory shows how people shape identity through context and audience. In the matched Guise experiment, Giles and his colleagues asked listeners to rate the same speaker using different accents. The results were striking. Received pronunciation, or RP, was rated highest for intelligence and status, but lowest for friendliness. Regional accents were rated friendlier, but seen as less professional. This reveals how strong our social attitudes toward accent can be, and how those attitudes affect identity and opportunity. Sharon Goodman introduced the concept of informalization, the idea that formal boundaries in language are eroding. Informal tones and casual speech are now more common in workplaces, schools, and media. This reflects a cultural shift where identities are more fluid, more equal, and more personal. It's a useful theory when analysing tone and register in modern texts. David Crystal supports a descriptivist view of language. He believes language change is natural and that all varieties, including slang and regional dialects, are valid. He criticises prescriptivism, which tries to fix or police language. Crystal sees language as a flexible tool for expressing identity and argues that variety strengthens communication, not weakens it. Jean Aitchison explored the myths people believe about language change. She identified 3: the damp spoon syndrome, the idea that people are lazy with language; the crumbling castle view, the belief that English was once perfect and is now falling apart; and the infectious disease assumption that bad language spreads like a virus. Aitchison debunks all 3, arguing that change is natural and driven by social needs. This is a great theory to use when responding to articles that panic about slang or so-called bad grammar. Finally, the Queen's English Society promotes standard English and received pronunciation as the ideal. They often oppose non-standard forms and worry about language decline. But their view has been criticised as elitist and outdated. This is a useful perspective to bring in when analysing conflicts between traditional authority and modern linguistic diversity. So, what have we seen? From department store accents to youth slang, from formal speech codes to shifting tones. These theories show how language is a mirror of social class, identity, and belonging. Speech is never neutral. It's a performance, a signal, a negotiation. In the next video, part 2, we'll put these theories into action as we plan a real Paper 4, Question 2 essay based on a recent Cambridge past paper. We'll break down the article, structure your argument, and link key theories to essay points. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more A-level English support. Your next grade boost might just be one click away.